Welcome to the Field of 68 After Dark's YouTube channel. We are going to be live every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here on YouTube and on Stadium for the entirety of the spring. The biggest winners of the offseason. Who is it for you, Jeff Goodman?
I don't, biggest winners, I would say to me, UConn obviously did a good job, getting Aiden Mahaney, getting Terrace Reed. Listen, you knew they were going to do it. They were going to be able to restock the cupboard because of what they've done the last 2 years. I think most kids right now, if they go in the portal, they're hoping to hear from Dan Hurley and the UConn Huskies. So certainly they're going to be among the winners. I think Xavier's done a nice job. If you look at what they've been able to do, first of all, they're going to get Zach Freemantle back, and they've been raving about him, about his health, about how he's bought in. Jerome Hunter, they're hoping to get back as well. So that's kind of two starters they're hoping to get back that have been in the program. Davian McKnight returns, and then you bring in a bunch of transfers, right? Ryan Conwell from Indiana State, Marcus Foster from Furman, who we've seen, Hughley, who is great at Pitt and has been solid, certainly at Oklahoma. Maddox from Toledo. They got a bunch. I like what Providence did. I like what Kim English did. Going to the portal and getting Abdul Rahim from Georgia, getting Cardette from Chicago State, getting the big kid, Sendoko from St. Joe's. Bensley Joseph's a nice piece. And obviously keeping Bryce Hopkins. So I think that was a big one as well. I'm trying to think of anybody else that would go in that. Creighton getting Pop Isaacs, one of my favorite players, and much needed because obviously they're going to need a lead guard. Ashworth needs some help in that backcourt. And I think, you get Kalkbrenner back. That was humongous for them on so many levels. So they've got a really good point guard and one of the best bigs in the country. Am I forgetting anybody? I mean, St. John's, they did all right. They got Kadari Richmond. He's one of the best guys in the portal. So, I think they're the haves and the have-nots here. When I look down the list for the Big East, do you kind of agree? Have I missed anybody that would be deemed a winner in the portal?
How could you miss anybody? I asked you for the biggest winner, and you named literally the entire conference. Is there anybody he didn't name here, Trevor? I asked for one team, and you just named 5 teams. For my money, I think that the biggest winner is probably Creighton. I would go with. You get back Ryan Kalkbrenner. You get back Stephen Ashworth, who I think is going to, year 2 is going to step up, knockdown shooter. And the addition of Pop Isaacs, I think, is huge for him. They also brought in Jemiah Neal from Arizona State, and they got a bunch of freshmen coming in. But bringing back Kalkbrenner when you are losing Trey Alexander and Baylor Shireman, I think is just enormous because of what he provides defensively and the stability that he gives you. Like right there with Ryan Kalkbrenner on your roster, Creighton to me is a top 25 team. Right. And then you just figure all the rest of the stuff out. But you have your defensive anchor. You have a guy you can play through offensively. And you have a guy that, for my money, will probably head into next season as the preseason player of the year in the Big East. You hit all when I wrote down my list, you hit on all 5 of them that I had written down. I do think that Xavier, the one that surprised me, like as I went through this, and we talked about this a little bit off air, Jeff, but the one that surprised me is how much I liked Xavier's offseason. Because I was thinking, like, when I sat down to kind of look through it, I was thinking to myself, they're losing Quincy Oliveri, they're losing Des Claude, they lose a bunch of the European guys that they brought in last offseason, and they're relying on hopefully having 2 big guys that did not play last season coming in and bolstering their front line again this year, right? So I was thinking to myself, there's no way I'm going to like what Xavier did in this offseason. And then it's one of those ones where when you look at what they've added with everything that's happened in like the last month in the portal, I completely forgot that they brought in Marcus Foster from Furman. I completely forgot that they went out and got John Hughley and Cameron Fletcher, who are 2 guys that have had a lot of success at the high major level before. I completely forgot that we had Dante Maddox commit to Xavier live on this very program. I completely forgot that happened. It feels like that happened in 2021. With everything that's happened over the course of the last 6 weeks in the sport. Ryan Conwell's a really nice addition who played at a high level at a good Indiana State program. And Roddy Anderson didn't put up huge numbers last year at Boise State, but 1, the guys at Boise State really liked him. And two, he had a monster year at one of the, is it UC San Diego? Was it San Diego? I can't keep all the three San Diego programs straight, but he had one of those schools in San Diego. He had a monster year as a freshman. So the more that I look at it, the more I really like what Sean Miller has put together. And I do think that there are enough pieces and enough weapons there that when you allow Sean Miller to cook, he's going to have a really good year. Xavier's going to be back this season, I think.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I love what Sean's done. And again, bringing back enough, bringing back, three key pieces with all these transfers. It's a lot of transfers, but as long as you have three guys back that know you, that know your system, especially McKnight, who's kind of the guy who's going to get the brunt of the minutes at the point. I think that's huge for him.
Yeah, Providence as well. I would just, keeping Bryce Hopkins from entering the portal was a big one for him. We all heard those that scuttlebutt when you kind of reach to the end of the portal deadline. Thanks for watching the Field of 68 After Dark. Make sure to hit that like button.